Hey, what's going on everybody? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to use the blend tool in Illustrator to create this really cool poster. Before we get started, please subscribe to support the channel. Alright, so I found this poster on Pinterest and thought it was really cool. I also left the link to the pin down in the description for you so you can follow along if you'd like. This poster uses a combination of the Type on a Path tool and the blend tool to create this effect. So let's go ahead and recreate this as close as we can. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and select the poster right here, and we're going to lower the opacity down to 50%. And then we'll go ahead and lock that layer. It just makes it a lot easier to work with, that way we don't accidentally drag across anything and pick it up and move it. Okay, so let's go ahead and set the framework for how this type is actually going to be laid down, and we're going to be using the ellipse tool for that. So we're going to hit L on our keyboard, and I'm just going to draw a circle, and I'm going to hold down Shift to constrain those proportions. Let's go ahead and hold down Shift and pull this up right here. We want to get it to match as closely as we can. You just want it to contour to the baseline of the type there. Okay, this is looking good, and we'll just kind of move it over slightly, just like that. All right, let's go ahead and hold down Option or Alt on your keyboard and just kind of click on that circle and drag a copy down right here. And then we'll do the same thing for this type right up here. So doing that is just kind of setting the foundation for this. All right, the first bit of type we're going to do is going to be the top left area right here, and it's going to be the date. So that is May 20th of 2020. So we're going to go over here to our type tool, and we're going to click and hold this down until we see Type on a Path tool. And we're going to come over here and hover until we see that path word show up. And then we're just going to click right there. All right, so the font that I'm using is SF Pro, that's San Francisco Pro. If you're using a Mac, it should be on your machine. If you don't have it, then I'll leave the link down in the description for you. Okay, so I'm using a custom blending of the width, optical size, and the weight. So I've got width at 30, optical size at 28, and weight at 760. So let's go ahead and click in our type area, and I'm going to type 20.05.2020. And obviously we've got some adjustments to do because we have to get the type right over here on this side, and we have to enlarge it. So we're going to make sure that our paragraph alignment is aligned left, and we're going to go over here to this bounding box, and we're just going to rotate to the left right here. And the reason we want paragraph aligned left is because we're going to be adjusting the size of this, and we want this to stick to this side. So I'm just going to adjust this up right here. Obviously we're not using the same font that this poster is using. I'm just using something that's similar. All right, that's looking good. So what we're going to do is select all of this text right here, and we want to copy these exact same parameters to the other circles. So I'm going to select all of our text here. We're going to hit copy. And now I'm going to use Type on a Path tool again. And we're going to go over here to this circle. You can really click anywhere on the path. And then we're going to paste that in. And now we're going to highlight that type and just type out circumference. And now we'll rotate this right up here again. And then we'll just repeat that same process for the third circle down here. So just click right here on the path, paste this in. And this says City of what? That is covered up there. Oh, it says City Hall. There we go. All right, so now we'll just rotate this to where it's sitting right there. And we can go in here and adjust the spacing between the letters here, so that way they're not touching each other. Okay, so the first thing that we want to do is make sure that we get all of our kerning finished, because we're going to be expanding this, and when you expand text, it's no longer editable. So let's make sure that we have exactly the spacing that we want. I'm going to increase this just a little bit, and I'm just going to go in here and kern all of this type, and I'll speed up this portion of the video for you. Alright, so our kerning looks really good right here. If you're wondering how I did this a minute ago, that is just going into outline view, and what that does is it just shows me everything that's a path and takes away everything that's a raster image. And to get there, you hit Command or Control Y on your keyboard. Okay, so now that we have these three blocks of type committed exactly as we want, I'm going to select all three of them, and let's go up here to Object, Expand, and we're going to expand Object and Fill. And now if we go back into outline view, you'll notice that our circle path is gone. So the type is not only no longer editable, but that circular path is also no longer there. All right, so let's zoom in right here. I'm going to select this body of type right here. And if you'll zoom in, you'll see we've got some weird things happening with the paths. So I'm just going to go over here to Pathfinder and click on Unite. And so that does a really good job of just cleaning up those extra paths that are right there. All right, so now I'm going to hit copy, and we're going to hit paste in front. And pasting in front just means that you're pasting a copy exactly where the original was. So now what we're gonna do is scale this down, and let's move this to about right here or so. A lot of this is guesswork because we can't actually see where the center of this is exactly, so it's really just my best guess. So we're just gonna see how the text kind of contours right there, and I'm thinking that we'll probably just leave it right there. And so now with this smaller block of type selected, we wanna swap the fill and the stroke. And so now there's no fill, but there is a stroke, and we're gonna leave the stroke aligned to the center. All right, now let's go back up to our top level, and we're gonna hit copy and paste in front again. And now with that still selected, we're gonna swap the fill and the stroke right here as well. And now that we've got both stroke types selected, we're gonna select both of them right here. And now on Mac, we're gonna do Command Option B. If you're on Windows, it's gonna be Alt Control B. And now we're gonna go over here to our toolbar, to where we see the blend tool, and we're just gonna double click on that. And let's change spacing to specified steps. And now we're just gonna increase those steps right there. So you can see right here that we've got some copies happening between those two. And I think that we could just leave it at 12 and hit OK. And obviously it's not following the exact same path as the original, but that's because of the placement that we've got right here for the bottom text. So what we're gonna do is select that bottom text and double click on it. And this takes us into isolation mode. And what we can do is click on that and we can move it wherever we want. So that is much closer to the original, although it's not exactly the same, but we need to remember the number of copies. So let's click on this again and go over here to the blend tool, and we have specified steps at 12. So 12 is gonna be the number that we use. And what 12 represents is the amount of copies in between our two blocks of text. So we hit OK. And now we're just gonna do the same thing over here that we did to the top text box. So I'm gonna hit copy and paste in front. So let's unite all these paths right here. And we're gonna hit copy and paste in front. I'm gonna scale this down to probably around here somewhere. That's my best guess. Now I'm gonna swap the fill and the stroke. And let's do copy and paste in front, swap fill and stroke. Select both of those, activate blend tool, double click on the blend tool, and go over here to specified steps and change that to 12, and hit OK. And now we'll do this last one. Click on Unite first, copy and paste in front. And we're gonna scale this down to about right there or so. Swap the fill and the stroke, copy and paste in front, swap the fill and the stroke again, select both of them that are stroked, and activate our blend tool, double click on the blend tool, go to specified steps and type in 12. All right, so as you can see, once you get that technique down, then you could just follow that same procedure with the other blocks of type. And let's go ahead and fill in the rest of this information right here. I'm gonna bring this down dramatically. So we've got 0174567. Not an accent mark there. Not sure exactly what this is representing, but it doesn't really matter. We're just gonna bring down the weight of this to try to match it as much as possible. Let's just scale this up right here, and we'll go over here to the character panel and click on underline. All right, and now I'm just going to duplicate this over here. Let's take off the underline and let's align this to the right. It just makes it a lot easier to work with when you are aligning it to what it is originally. And we have a lot of spacing in between here, and that's because of our leading. So let's bring this up and we'll make it super tight, just like it is in the original. And now we'll select both of these top pieces and we'll just duplicate those down here. And I'll just type what we have right here, designed by Mansur. I think that's right. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. And then we've got join us right down here without an underline. So we will align that right there to there. And now we'll just recreate where it says Circle Conference. This really is a very cool poster. Major props to whoever put this together. All right, let's go ahead and scale this down right here. Let's swap this to align left, just so we can make some adjustments here. And we're gonna bring this out to about here. And we'll bring the sizing down just a little bit more. And then we'll just play with that tracking a little bit. All right, that's looking good. Now we're going to use our ellipse tool and just create a circle right here. I'm going to swap fill in the stroke real quick just so I can get that exactly centered. And we'll just bring this to where it is originally. And now we can go over here to our swatches panel, and I'm just going to temporarily make it this yellow right here. Let's swap over to the stroke and take off the stroke because there is no stroke there. And now we can go back into our outline view and click on this circle conference and bring it to the front and go back out of outline view again. And as you can see, we've got that exactly where it needs to go. So now let's select everything and move it off of our artboard. I'm going to go up here to Object and unlock all. And let's bring up the opacity to 100%. And now we'll click on this yellow circle and use our eyedropper tool to copy that exact same color. Alright, so if you look on the original poster, we have this really cool noise layer right here. So we're going to bring everything that we created into Photoshop. We're going to select everything, and we're going to hit copy. And we're going to create a document at 16 1/4 by 24 inches at 300 resolution, and click on Create. And now we're just going to paste this as a smart object and hit OK. And let's center everything to our document. So we're going to hit Command A or Control A. And we're going to make sure that our Move tool is selected so you can see these alignment tools up here. So we're going to do Align Horizontal Centers and Align Vertical Centers. And now we'll just deselect everything. All right, let's go back into our original design. Use our eyedropper tool to grab this background color. And we'll copy that. Let's go over here into Photoshop and select Background. Click on Solid Color Adjustment Layer. And we're just going to fill that in with that color there. All right, let's click on our Vector Smart Object layer, and now we'll add a new layer and call this Noise. Now we're going to hit Shift and Delete on our keyboard to bring up our fill window, and we're going to fill it with 50% gray. Hit OK. And let's go over here to Filter, Noise, and Add Noise. I'm going to bring this up to about 50% and hit OK. And now we'll just change the blending mode to Overlay. And here is that recreated poster that we did in Illustrator and then brought over into Photoshop. We used the Type on the Path tool and the Blend tool and a couple of other tools as well, but those are the primary ones that we used. If you followed along with this video, I appreciate it, and I hope I taught you something new today. If I did, please like, share, and subscribe to support the channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.